Grand Rising, wonderful souls, and welcome to Bronwen's Code Tarot. This is a timeless collective reading on what is coming forward. If you are a new face, welcome in. If you're an old one, welcome back, my lovelies. Nice to see you. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments and your subscribes. Thank you for your donations. They are always truly appreciated. And thank you for your emails. Emails of confirmation, emails sharing your stories, and emails booking readings. My readings are open. There is a 48 to 72 hour turnaround time for my readings. However, if you need something a little bit speedier, I do offer an emergency service which goes out within 12 to 24 hours. With that being said, please remember there is still someone going through the comments section pretending to be moi, pretending to be a light one, pretending to earn 37,000 in crypto in 1 week. That whole thread is a scam. If you see it, just block and report it, please. If you get to any message or response from me that does not have the highlighted black banner, you are not talking to me, please block that as well. Thank you kindly. Now, the energy that I pick up on is fluid and timeless, which means that I can be picking up on past, present or future, and sometimes an amalgamation of all three. So please take what resonates and leave the rest. Please remember this is not a personal reading. Now, if I also say he, she, masculine, feminine, male or female, we all hold these energies. So this reading could be for you, the person you're thinking of, another light one, divine counterpart, or someone completely different. So please do not make the story fit if it does not. And if the message in this reading does not resonate, please have a look at some of my other readings on my channel. If none of them resonate, it means the messages are not for you at this time, and or you may benefit from having a personal reading. Let's get into it. Now, yesterday I had a download. Okay, it was very, very strange. I had a download of it was a red velvet chair, and it was a darkened room, and it was just a red velvet chair, like an armchair, old school. And next to it was a standing light with one of those really old school kind of lamps that drape down, and that was the only light from the room. And as I was watching or allowing this information to come to me, it kind of turned 180. So my vision turned 180, and I could see that there was a hooded figure sitting in the chair. Did not see the face until later, but it was a red velvet hood with a gold trimming, and it was holding a book. Everything was red velvet, and the book was either red velvet or leather, and it was open, and it was reading something. And the fingers, almost like when you watch, you know, really old school Hammer horror. What's the word? Yeah, old school Hammer horror of like a witch, like with, you know, they have really old bony fingers, and their nails are like black and pointy, and it was pointing at different parts of the book, and it was reading something out to someone. And then I was shown that there was a small child, maybe about 5 or 6, but in the 1950s style of hair, almost like when you look at those old school postcards or cartoons of the, you know, 2.4 house with the picket fence. And it was a white kid with blonde hair, had like a little bob, and was wearing a proper 1950s little dress or smock. And this child was listening intently to what this being or entity or whatever was saying, and it was turning the pages and pointing. And at one point I realised that it was a crowd of children. They were all very young, very impressionable, and they were being told something. It was rules of some sort, and then they were passed. Each one was passed. It was almost like either parchment paper. You know when you're a kid and you have to do a project for school and you have to make something look old-timey, and you take tea bags and you put it on the paper to stain it, and then you might burn the sides to make it look all old, like a pirate map or something. It was along those lines, and it was handed to each one of them, and it had like really sharp cursive writing. And I just heard sign it with blood. So there's something here with being shown. Someone from a very young age was promised to go down this path of darkness. Now that it may not have been them that promised it. It may not have been them that agreed to it. It could have been their parents. Because I heard this is a family thing. And then I was also shown someone when they were a little bit older. So a teenager at maybe 13. And they had a very similar book. And they turned the book and said, this is the one that will ruin them all. And it was a medieval drawing of a tower crumbling in flames. Okay. And look what's underneath straight away. Healer, upside down. And then boundaries. Someone's either using a family grimoire, or they're using something very, very ancient that's been passed down from, you know, from lineage to, from generation to generation. Tell me more about this. I'm sorry if you can hear noise in the background. It's just my dog. Tell me more about this. So look, it says witch's hat and power, and it went to go out sideways because there's something here with them using specific incantations or specific rituals of their forefathers, okay? Because I heard their blood runs through my blood. And you've also got summer and water. So there was something that was done to try, either something's attached to them, because I'm seeing like someone with like a mole or a boil or something, but it's black and it's slowly growing. And I do not know if this is physically growing or if this is etherically attached to them, because I heard feed me now. Now with that summer upside down, this is to do with childhood. This is your, you know, your solar plexus. So this was something that was promised. They were almost signed away already before they even, you know, hit puberty. Because you've also got respect and pentacle coming out. So there's money in doing this. There's money. Excuse me, do you mind not making so much noise? You right there? Anything else? Yeah. And they may have tried doing this to a high priestess or high priest when they were a child. Okay. Because I heard disempower, take it away. And you've got awakening and spell. So there was something that was an enchantment or a confusion spell or a memory spell, something to block what was done in childhood, to stop, hinder, delay, place an obstacle in front of either that's you, the person you're thinking of, another light one's awakening that should have happened a long time ago. So when you think of your first spiritual awakening, I heard it was supposed to happen maybe even a decade before or even longer. Because look, fulfillment's in reverse. You purposely did this. To what end? What was it? And I should have said, I saw what it was. The hood came off of the thing that was sitting there, because every time I tried to look at it, it was just black. It was like shadow and just two eyes. And it saw me and I was just like, yes, I'm here. And its hood was pulled off. I don't think it meant for its hood to pull off. And it looked like, have you seen The Witches? Roald Dahl's The Witches, the actual movie. There's a part in when all of these women, all these witches with purple eyes, they go into this massive auditorium and they're told that they can take off their masks. And the head witch, who has like, you know, really chiseled cheekbones and, you know, looks all gorgeous and a little bit like, what's her name from the Addams Family, Morticia Addams, she takes off her mask and she looks like almost like a rat, okay? And her skin's all bumpy and her hair is like, you know, she's hardly got any hair left and it's all really greasy. That's what the thing looked like, okay? And there was a bit of surprise from it that it was seen, okay? There was surprise that it was seen. Now you look over here, you've got the Guardian, okay, and Familiar upside down. So there has been a lot of work to place not only illusions, but to remove protection or place fear in a light one from when they were very young, when it's in regards to their gifts, their spiritual powers, their, you know, how they connect to their I am presence. And I can tell you from my own experience, like when I was 5 was the first time that I saw a spirit or a ghost or connected in that way, and it scared me. It was the most frightening thing that I'd ever seen, even though I come from a family of all of the people that are in my family all see, all hear, all connect in that way, but it was never spoken about. And I can remember as I got older, I blocked that off, and I thought I blocked it off by myself, but now we're seeing. This brought in a lot of stability for family members, especially. It's either your family members or someone else's family members who have been doing this to you, okay? Because the staff is also, for me, about the root chakra. It's the 4th house. It's stability, it's safety, it's identity, okay? And yeah, there was a lot of money that came out of this, because I've only just noticed that he's actually wearing a pentacle ring on there. Containment, but they weren't able to contain this. There's something that they did that was supposed to bring in more fortune, and it was supposed to be your demise. It was supposed to feed whatever this thing is, and something went wrong. Tell me about that medieval tower. Why did I see a medieval tower? Moon cycles, because they've been doing this for so many moons, and I'm hearing it's not decades. This goes back to previous lifetimes, but there's someone here who's connected to the first witch, who is connected to whatever that thing was, with the robe over its head, okay? Because you've got staff, you've got initiation, and their job, it's almost like they are bearers. Have you seen, for example, there's a program, and they cancelled it, and I don't know why, because it was amazing. It was called Warrior Nun on Netflix, and the premise of this is that there are these, you know, God-fearing nuns who are also ninjas, and they are supposed to be the ring. They're supposed to bear this ring, which is actually the halo of an angel, and specific people are supposed to carry it in their bodies, which give them certain powers, but they're supposed to carry it until the next person is ready to, you know, until that person passes away, and then they carry it, and it's to save it and keep it safe from, you know, external forces. The energy that I'm getting from whenever this book was created and whoever they were speaking to, there is some sort of lineage of dark witches, and they're almost like the bearer of this book, and each female, and I heard no males too, they have a turn at carrying this, either the book or the knowledge, and there's a purpose that they have to do, and part of that purpose is, look, you've got initiation and spirit upside down, is stopping a light one, a light bringer, a light bearer from learning who they are, because I heard it could end them all. Yeah, look, stop that awakening. Stop you from knowing who you are, stopping you from knowing thyself and knowing what your forward purpose is, what your soul's mission is. Okay, tell me more about this. Tell me more, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Ooh, ooh. And you've got on here clearance and broomstick, because part of your soul's mission is to clear and remove negativity, evil, maliciousness, and there seems to be a fear coming from whatever this being is, whatever this entity is, because when it was seen, it didn't rise itself up and be like, yeah, you see me, come on, let's go. It didn't. It wanted to slink itself back into the darkness, okay? And look, you've got hex here and staff. So there was, the thing is, I'm getting this was a joint effort, because again, look, you've got the pentacle on there. And I'm not saying that the pentacle is evil, or that, you know, if you see someone wearing that, oh my gosh, they're a dark witch, evil, rah. No, not at all. But there's something here with some sort of order that has their own sigil that they wear in a ring or in a necklace, something along those lines, and they may mask it with a pentacle, because the pentacle just, it represents all the different elements and how they come together. Because look, that one's got the pentacle and that one's got the pentacle. Because I heard the order of what? Why did I hear the order of the phoenix? The order of the phoenix. Because I heard they mask themselves as light bearers. Tell me more. Anything else that needs to come out? Please and thank you. Show me what I need to see. So you've got here fire and you've got incubation. They weren't prepared for the fact that you still, even though they blocked you, it's almost like they did a favor to you, because they gave more time to you or the person you're thinking of to incubate, like a baby growing in a womb. You know, they've placed this hex or this, you know, memory loss or whatever it is. I heard trauma. But they didn't realise, just like a fetus, it's in that womb for a specific amount of time until it is completely fully formed and ready to be birthed into the world. And oh my gosh, when it did, when it did, and you had your first spiritual awakening, they weren't expecting you to be as powerful as you are, or to learn as quickly as you did. There's something here about mastering a skill a lot quicker than it took them to master it. Okay, and I heard painfully slow for them. Now, fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This is your first, your fifth, and your ninth house. Those houses seem to be very, very important. I'd have a look at what zodiac signs sit in them, what planets are over them as well, because there's something here with how your next activation is going to go, and those three being quite important, because look, they tried hexing you. So they hexed your first, your fifth, and your ninth house, because your first house is all to do with identity. It's how people see you and how you wish to present yourself to the world. Your fifth house is all to do with pleasure, intimacy, sex, love, but also how you deal with conflict, how you confront that. Do you navigate through it? Do you react to it? And then Sagittarius is all to do with your philosophies, travel, thought, faith. Those are the three that they were trying to mask from you, from understanding, because they give you an understanding of who you are, how you want to be presented to the world, how you wish to follow your forward path. And that's what they have been doing. And that makes sense because in one of my previous readings, it was talking about placing certain affirmations onto a wheel that represents the different houses in your birth chart. And just for like a summary, is if you feel like there's certain parts of your life that are being affected more than others, have a look at your birth chart, your natal chart, and see where that corresponds. So if it's your health, it could be the 6th house. If it's your finances, it's the 2nd house. So I'm just sorting out my necklace here. If it is your communication style, it's your 3rd house. Have a look at where you feel like it's being affected. Draw that out as a circle, you know, chop that into 12 and place what zodiac signs you actually have, rather than what's in, what should be, like, you know, Aries is 1st, Taurus is 2nd. Place the zodiacs where that, you know, that are on your birth chart into that circle, and then look at the areas of which ones are being affected, and then look at the shadow aspects of the zodiac sign that's in the house that you feel is being affected, and then set manifestation techniques on that house. So whether that is burning a candle and praying over it, and I'm not talking about doing it as a future tense or as a present tense, do it as something that's already come to be. The way that we manifest is by telling the universe we already have it. We've already been given it, not we will get it, it might come. So if, for example, you know, whatever it is that they've done to your 1st, your 5th and your 9th house are affecting you now, and you feel like it is in certain areas of your life, then you could set a white candle and pray over that, or set affirmations or manifestation techniques that resonate with you, but doing it in present tense as giving thanks for something that you've already got. Okay, there's something here for someone here when it comes to removing this specifically with words, whether that's just prayer, affirmation, candle work, whatever works for you. Yeah, it's to bring, because what they did was to bring in to bring a lack of fulfillment in those areas of your identity. Who are you? You know, who are you when you strip away the attachments that you have to family, to work, to hobbies, to friendships? Who are you? What lights you up that hasn't got an attachment to anyone else that you know? That is your 1st house. Your 5th house, how do you love? How do you connect to intimacy? How do you navigate through chaos? And Sagittarius is your faith. What do you believe in? What do you trust in? What do you aspire to? Because these are the things that they have been trying to hide from you for a very long time, since childhood. Okay, and this is something that they may be trying to intensify right now. And I think, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but we may be in a retrograde with Uranus. And Uranus is, or Uranus, just so that, you know, you don't get the comedy effect of your anus. Sorry. But, you know, with that being in retrograde, that's about, you know, surprises. It's all about sudden changes and surprises and shifts. With it being in retrograde, that just makes them a little bit bigger, a little bit, you know, a little bit bigger, a little bit badder, a little bit more magnified. So right now is a perfect time to be looking at those houses, looking at the zodiac signs, the shadow aspects, and how you move forward with that. Okay, because you've got Lither and Alchemist. Yeah, now is the time to up the ante when it comes to how you return that back to whence it came. Anything else that would like to come out? Because I heard a story of all ages. Because you've got protection, death. Sorry for that disruption there. The cards that came out were death, protection, and spell. So this, especially with the story of all ages, this was supposed to create some sort of barrier to you knowing who you were and how to protect yourself. And in protecting yourself, protecting others. Death in reverse is almost like not finishing a phase, constantly being in tumultuous energy. Okay. And especially if I was talking only not that long ago about manifestations and about, you know, praying or using affirmations or manifestations over certain houses within our birth chart or natal chart. This was done, okay? There were specific houses within your birth chart that were extremely important when we're looking at those fire signs, the 1st, the 5th and the 9th. Now, also have a look at other areas, like I said, that may be affected now. Is it your love life? Is it your work life? Is it faith? Is it the way that you communicate? Is it your connection to abundance and prosperity and money and like tangible money? But this is something that was done a long time ago. Story of all ages is also giving me that this hasn't happened in just this life. This has happened before. Now, when I look down here as well, this is a calling for someone here to definitely do some sort of clearance ritual, some sort of prayer or affirmation over, like I said, specific houses. Okay, because it will help you ground. And with Earth, this is all to do with Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. So it's to do with your income, money flow, inheritance. Virgo is to do with looking at the finer things, organising things. It could also be to do with your health. And Capricorn is to do with your fame, your career, how people see you and recognise you for the things that you bring into this world. Okay, and look at that. Clearing this is actually going to bring in a spiritual awakening for someone, or it's going to make something very clear for them that was lost in memory in past. Anything else that would like to come out? Because at the moment, you have got masculine in Lord God in reverse to awakening. So the thing is as well is that you have to remember that not everything is external. Not everything is happening because someone else is doing it to us. We have phases of healing. We have phases and cycles of karmic lessons that are taught to us, and they will keep repeating themselves if we don't learn what it is that the universe, God, Allah, divine source is trying to tell us. With this being upside down, especially with this here, this is letting me know that someone, as they're on their healing path, but there's something that is stopping them from having a full awakening. And you've got to remember, now pair that with the outside energy that's pushing towards you. They're doing so because they already know that there are certain houses within your birth chart that have been affected and have been affected for a very long time. And I heard sneaky snake. Yeah, look. This is something that has been constantly, it's almost like as the seasons change, there's something that they have to do to put a wedge in, a barrier, a block, a challenge, an obstacle to keep it going. Because if this has been going since childhood, okay, you can be, my channel is not for children, so this is not going to be for those underneath the age of 18. However, continuing doing your, I heard for someone breath work, but continuing doing your healing work, your inner child, wounded inner child work, your shadow work, is going to uncover something. Where that wedge is, why that wedge is there. And I'm not talking about what they've put in, but it's the wounds that we carry, okay? Especially the ones that we don't see, because where they were created was so far back that it's lost in memory. But there's something here with the more that we heal, the more that we're going to be made aware. We're going to become self-aware of that. And as we do that, it will help remove what is here, as well as doing some sort of manifestation, some sort of spoken gratitude manifestation to help remove what they have placed in your 1st, your 5th and your 9th house. Anything else that would like to come out? Look at that, shadow work, all doing the shadow work. And this is something that they were trying to stop. They were really trying to stop. They may have used fire magic. I heard a dragon. There may have been dragon energy that they were harnessing, because when I look down this row here, you have got the high priest, the high priestess, which is you, irrespective of gender. You then have fire, so that is your, Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. Death card, keeping you in some sort of tumultuous energy and trying to hide this in your shadow, but it's been hidden in your shadow for lifetimes, okay? There is definitely a pattern, because I've just opened this up and it's secret to your ethos. Okay, and it says Wiccan Read, which says in perfect love, in perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan Read fulfill. And ye harm none, do as ye will. And ever mind the rule of 3. What ye send out comes back to thee. Follow this with mind and heart, and merry ye meet, and merry ye part. The more that you're learning about yourself, the more you're learning about the different laws of the universe, the more you're learning about polarity, especially the law of polarity, and the actions, intentions and thoughts that we put out into the world co-create the world that we're in. The more that we're doing this, the more that we're sending back what it is that's being sent without malice, just sending that energy back in the same energy it was sent, but without malice, the more it is knocking them down. Look at that. Whoever this person is doesn't want you to know this. Whatever this energy is that they worship, I heard, doesn't want you to know this. Because I heard the souls are mine. Or the souls have been promised. Tell me more. Because I heard sacred blood and youth. Up or down? This way. Because you've got here secret in reverse. So something's being outed, and then you've got boundary here as well. You place one there. Place that one there. Sorry, I think the door just went. Give me 1 second. So many disruptions at the moment. Let me check. Is that someone at the door? Wait there. Nope, no one at the door, little one. Sorry about that. No, there's no one at the door. Someone probably playing Ding Dong Dash. Now let's see what else wanted to come out. And look, summer's turned around this way. So this is all to do with the wounded inner child. It's all to do with how you access not only past memories of hurt to heal, but how you access memories of love and joy and light. That will help you to do so and to push you forward also on your path of service to the collective consciousness. And look at that. The more you do that, there's something here with another guardian wanting to come in or wanting to show you the way. Show you the way. Now, what would you like me to take out that one? Okay, let's have a look-see. I mean, look, show you the way, and what comes out. It says, Guardian Angel, you are not alone. Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Wow, I love that. Tell me more. Because I heard light codes activated. Tell me more about that. Show me what I need to see. Show me what I need to see, please and thank you. What do I need to see? What do they need to see? And it says on here, Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. So someone here needs to be ensuring that as they are working through past traumatic experiences, that they're taking time for breath work. That makes sense where that came out. That they're taking time to do things that ground them into this reality, into now, while you're accessing past timelines. Because on the back here it says, transform and unveil your gift, shapeshifter. The more that you are pouring light, love and focus into the parts that hurt, the more that you are going to uncover not only gifts from this life, but from past ones that were hidden by whoever this is. Because I keep hearing the Order of the Phoenix. Because you've also got, yeah, look, the moon is upside down. And it says, take note of intuitive messages. Transform and unveil your gifts. There's something they were trying to block you from intuitively knowing. Doggo, what are you doing? Sorry, she's just over there sniffing. We've also got here, exchange energy to create abundance. Whatever this gift is going to up-level how you connect to the law of abundance, how you connect to the law of attraction, how you connect to the universe. Okay. Anything else that needs to come out, please and thank you. And we have here, track down your fears and desires. There you go. Track down your fears and desires. Shadow work is needed. Follow the voice of your soul. Be devoted and committed. Anything else that would like to come out? Doggo, you can open that door yourself, you know. You've also got here, Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. So that's Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is calling right now. That's a lot of blue. This is talk. This is speaking your truth. This is a clearance and activation in your throat chakra as well. Anything else that would like to come out? And we've got here, harness mystic power, High Priestess. We start with High Priestess, we end with the High Priestess. I love this. And look, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. I love this. Now let me move my drink before you knock that over, Doggo. Now before we go, I would actually like to get some signs, houses, planets, just to see what it is that we should be focusing on, you know, including the 1st, the 5th and the 9th house. So you've got Aquarius coming out. So someone here may want to look at their 11th house. You also have on here the placement of Neptune in your chart explains your psychic intuition and how you dream. So there is a lot of connection here between keeping note of your dream state and social circles. Okay, and I had expectations of social circles because you've also got Libra coming out. Things that you felt weren't fair growing up, peer pressures, the people that you hung around with. And I heard for someone's Sunday school as well. Anything else that would like to come out on this? And I heard I am Mormon. I am Mormon. Anything else that would like to come out on this? And do you know what I also heard? And I think this is like a it's almost like a connection or a throw over to Game of Thrones. I heard I am the one-eyed raven. And you've got Saturn, yeah, as Saturn is associated with life lessons and limitations. Its placement can help to pinpoint what you need to learn in order to improve your life. That's all of this. This is what you're being asked to do. Because over here you've also got Pisces. Something needs to come to an end. And I never say that with judgment, because we all go through cycles in life. We all go through karmic cycles in life, and just because it's a karmic cycle doesn't mean that we are karmic, because lessons will either make you heal, grow and strengthen, or wither, especially if you ignore what it is that the universe is trying to tell you. Now with Saturn coming out and then having Pisces right next to it, this is the universe asking you to look back at something, okay? And it doesn't have to be something specific. Whatever it is that makes you hurt now, when you think back into your past timelines in childhood, is what you should be looking at to, at your own pace, heal and grow and expand from, okay? Because the thing is as well, Pisces is also to do with, it's not just to do with like spirituality and endings, it's also karma. There's something beautiful that will come from healing, from focusing on something specific. Why is my dog licking the carpet? Excuse me, what are you doing? You're such a weird dog, aren't you? Sorry. Now you've also got on here Gemini. Gemini star signs are versatile, chatty, creative and perceptive. They are known as the skilled communicators of the zodiac. And then you have Saturn. What is it that you need to speak about? Because there's definitely a calling from Archangel Gabriel to voice something that needs to be communicated either with yourself through journaling, automatic writing, therapy. Remember, I am not a therapist in any way, shape or form. Whether that is speaking to another person, speaking out loud to yourself with an outer monologue, because you've also got Aries here. So this is an encouragement to forge forward with this, and to especially look at your first house and what sits in there, because this is regarding your identity. And I think there's something here with also looking back at your childhood. How did you gain your identity? Who was it linked to the most? Was it your mother, your father, your caregivers, your peers? There's something about also, if not finding the identity there, how did you find your identity? Okay, what challenges or obstacles did you find when you were creating that identity of how you connect to the world? What things were joyous for you when you did connect? Because you've also got Virgo, yeah, the deep thinker. This is a time for reflection. And I heard also a pat on the back, to pat yourself on the back for how far you've come. Anything else that would like to come out, please and thank you. And you've also got Virgo. This is also, don't be too hard on yourself, because Virgos in their shadow aspects can ruminate and they can criticize themselves. You know, you always hear the saying that an artist is always its worst critic. The same with Virgos. If they get into that anxious state of looking at things to the minute detail rather than just the smaller detail, it can become almost like an obsessive pattern in their head. And this is what you're being asked to let go of. Let go of the reins a little bit on that, okay? Because you've got Taurus here as well. There's something here with looking at how far you have come, because Tauruses are very abundant, they're very reliable, they're steadfast, they take their time. Almost like when you think of the Knight of Coins, it's the slowest knight in the deck, because good things come when we take our time. Because I'm hearing take your time and reassess. And then you've got Scorpio. So yeah, this is all about releasing certain emotions, being that deep thinker, calling on Archangel Gabriel, especially if you need that extra support, that emotional support. But make sure that if this is resonating with you, and speaking to a therapist is something that resonates with you. I am not a therapist. Please make sure that you're taking the advice from someone who's in that professional industry before taking any advice from me. Yeah, because look what's come out here, that Jupiter is known as the planet of luck and abundance. Where it's placed in your chart will uncover how you experience fortune, wealth and success. This is another reason why they did this, okay? Because you've got fire here and you've got fire here. And we've had Taurus come out, and then this about abundance. This was always about trying to affect how you created and how you forged forward. but doing it in such a subtle way so that you wouldn't remember, so that you would always be wanting more in life when it came to wealth, prosperity, connections, but not really being able to put your finger on why you weren't getting that in the first place. So this is the reason why you're being called by angels, by your guides, by your highest resonance light team members, by God, Allah, divine source, to look back at this, because I heard so much potential. Even as a child, you had so much potential to connect on such a higher level as you are now. Okay, as we got High Priestess coming out twice. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that gave you some confirmation and clarity on what you already intuitively knew. If you are new to my channel and this resonated for you, I'd love for you to hit on the like, the subscribe, and on the notification bell so you can see more of my lovely content. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your emails. I know I don't always get to respond to every email because there's so many, but I do read them all and I appreciate you. Anyone that feels moved to leave a donation, it's never expected, but it's always deeply appreciated because it means I can put more time, more love, and more cards into this channel. Anyone looking for a personal reading, all of my information is in the description box down below. If you go to the second paragraph down, there is a row of blue arrows pointing up. I've got 2 emails there. I usually respond within about 2 to 3 days, but if you don't hear from me by chance, just send me a prompt email and I'll put your email to the top of the list. Anyone who is interested in having a personal reading, please make sure that you make yourself familiar with my services and costs. They are just underneath those blue arrows, so that you more or less know what you might need before you contact me. But that being said, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.